Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bethalkis, and this is another episode of Feelings in Hallways. This is episode 2, as a matter of fact. So, welcome. So, what is Feelings in Hallways? Feelings in Hallways is I'm covering all the DC CW shows or the CW DC shows, however you want to look at it. There's 5 of them now, but yeah, that's what I'm covering. And I'm not doing a recap like I normally do with these guys. Pretty much just kind of doing a brief once over whether I liked it or not, and some problems here and there. And of course, this is all leading up to Crisis, the Crisis of Infinite Earths, or the Crisis Countdown, if you will. And that's what this is all about. So, and you're probably going to hear some demon spawn screaming in the background because, of course, they're out and about when that's happening now. So, before I start, yes, there will be spoilers in this one. Even though I'm not doing a recap of these episodes, I am going to be talking about spoiler stuff. So, if you haven't watched any of the episodes, and I don't blame you, um, you can go back and watch them. This will be a video later on, but thank you, Vankovich, for the paddle. There we go. Also, a little bit of business out of the way first. If you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If you don't like what you see, you can hit the dislike button. I just ask that you tell me down below in the comment section what it is you don't like. Not that it's stupid and I don't like it, because, yeah, that's really fucking constructive for me and doesn't tell me dick, pretty much. So, also, if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you can hit the bell down below and you can go to my website, suspendedfanimation.com. My schedule is up there. It's also up on my Facebook page as well. I have a Facebook group so you guys can post stuff and talk amongst yourselves as well. And I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, and I have a Patreon, but I don't have any tiers set up as of yet. So let's get into this stuff, shall we? Thank you, Pen, and welcome, Pen. And let me get a little bit of drink here before I start. Because, yes, these shows do drive me to drink sometimes. We're going to start off with Batwoman first. I'm pretty much doing it in the order that they were shown. I don't know if what the exact order is, to tell you the truth, because I watched the next day on the CW app. Yeah, rightly so. Exactly, Pen. Thanks. So, Batwoman, we continued off with Kate looking to see if Alice was actually her sister, and lo and behold, she was. Oh my God. She ends up giving one of the bad guys, one of Alice's minions, a keyword waffles to tell Alice. And it turns out that there's a waffle shack they used to go to as kids and have waffles and whatnot. And basically, she wanted to find out if that was her sister. She had a knife to begin with that supposedly had Alice's DNA on it and was going to test it, but it got stolen in the garage by supposedly Alice's men. Hey, Morix, how's it going? Um, that did not that was not the case. Actually, when she meets up with Alice and does confirm, Alice plays games with her whether or not she's her sister or not. She goes, well, maybe I read it in the news, maybe I don't know, maybe I got it from this, maybe I got it from that, or maybe I really am your sister. And she's playing all these games and whatnot. um but she said she never got her knife back, so obviously it was not her men that did it. And so it's a big whodunit, who actually took the knife, what's going on. And in the meantime, um, well, Alice ends up getting captured by the Crows, the security group that Kate's father runs, and she ends up she's going to Arkham, and she gets broken out. And Batwoman, of course, yeah, actually, you do care who took the knife, because it does add a little bit of something to it, Pen. And we find out that hey, Joker, I didn't even see you there, that Batwoman comes in and saves her from drowning, because of course she couldn't save her when she was a child, and she feels guilty about it. And they end up getting separated. And at one point, uh Lucius Fox's son, who is now running, I guess, Batcave 2, and he doesn't know any of these systems. He ends up defibrillating Batwoman to bring her back to life because there's an explosion that happens underwater. Blah 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 blah. So anyway, long story short, the that was the skull of the last person who asked me that question, Pen. No. Long story short, the person who actually took the knife was her stepmother. Dun dun dun. Yeah. So her stepmother was the one that took the knife, and we don't know why. And she gives it to some guy and tells him to melt it down. Alice also is very jealous, by the way, of her stepsister and sends her boyfriend to go kill the stepsister, which of course Batwoman stops. And yeah, there's some craziness going on in here. I'm still not liking Ruby Rose's acting, of course, because there really isn't a lot of acting. Alice, the actress who plays Alice, her acting actually slipped, and I think it's just a proximity thing of being in the same room with a really bad actress, and her performance actually kind of dipped this time around as well. And quite honestly, I'm really hoping that Papa Kane gets capped at some point here because he's just a horrible actor too. And we need something to move this along a little bit more. Yeah, it's not the best of series. It's not really all that compelling as well. I mean, it's yes, I know it's got the social justice aspect of it, and quite honestly, I really don't give a shit about that. And it doesn't yank my crank. It also does not fire me up to talk against it or anything like that. It's just kind of like, yeah, okay. I lived in San Francisco. I was born and raised in San Francisco. Protests are an everyday way of life there, and so that kind of stuff just doesn't do it for me, to tell you the truth. I'm a more, your actions speak louder than words and marching in the street. You got to change something for me to actually take notice. But anyway, political soapbox gone. The show isn't that great, but I liked Alice. I really did like her. Rachel was even great on the last season, the Bravo series, The Imposters. Oh, okay, she was on that. Oh, okay, that's why. So you remember John? John used to be on another channel with me and somebody else. So he really likes Batwoman, but he doesn't like Alice for some reason. But he really liked the Imposters. The Imposters I tried watching, and I couldn't get into. I really could not get into it. Yeah, it's kind of funny. He really loves Ruby Rose, thinks she's great, but he thought Alice's performance was really shitty. And I was like, no, you got to flip that, man. It was the opposite way around. Yeah, he does have questionable taste. I agree with you, Penn. John, if you're out there, hi. Not talking bad about you, just your taste. That's all we're saying. Love you. Contact me. Give me a call. Um, so let's move on over to Supergirl. Supergirl again is mired in. I don't know where it's going. It's the one thing I did like is that Lena is kind of leaning towards the bad guy side now at this point. She is doing some questionable shit, all in the name of trying to save humanity. Um, you thought I was the voice of reason? Wow. You must have been watching a different show then, Joe. Sometimes I am, but sometimes not. So yeah, Lena is doing some questionable shit right now. Uh, she's got Miss Tessbacher, and she's experimenting on her with nanites and fucking with her brain, and it looks like it's worked too. Also on the A plot, we've got James, of course, is no longer working for Catco because Catco has been taken over, and the new owner of Catco has been trying to push Kara into doing these, fashion uh, articles now and all this stuff, basically trying to get her to quit. Because if you quit, the contract that they've all signed is that they have a non-compete clause and that they won't be able to work someplace for like 3 years. Whatever. So James is, now that he's quit and he can't work in media for 3 years, he has now been offered, what was it? He said a curator position at the Smithsonian, even though he has no experience, um, and to run as senator. So that's what he is actually now kind of being pushed towards. Originally, he was looking at the Smithsonian because he wanted to do that, even though he has no experience whatsoever. And people who have gotten years of experience would kill for that job. Um, but he is looking at the stuff that's going on in the news and, of course, wants to run for senator. And yeah. And in the meantime, um, John's brother is also in the A plot, I should say here, is not feeling well. So is John, because of this mystical thing that when brother fights brother, there is a psychically they hurt each other so badly that they need some kind of drug, I guess, to heal themselves. Yeah. Anyway, he was knocked out for the count for the good portion of the episode, and Jimmy's sister ended up helping John heal himself, which also healed his brother because his brother was psychically connected. Yes, I know it sounds ridiculous. When I talk it through. So not the greatest of episodes, other than, yeah, I miss John's father as well. John's father was pretty awesome. Well, I mean, it's Carl Lumley, for God's sake. He's an icon as far as I'm concerned. I mean, Mantis. If you didn't like Mantis in the 80s as a kid growing up, what the hell was your problem? So, yeah, Lena's arc is pretty much the only thing that's been good about this. Watching her kind of going into evil, even though it's being, she is chewing a lot of scenery. I can say that much, and I don't mind that, to tell you the truth. Yeah. You saw him in the Stephen King. What is it? The one on Hulu. Joker, is that the one? Yeah. So let's move on a little bit, shall we? We're gonna go to Black Lightning this time. Yeah, Lena's arc. I would wait pen on that one. I don't know how far they're going to go with it because they've tried this before where they're going to kind of go into the evil and then they brought it back and then they went and then they kind of went halfway, then they brought her back again. So I don't know if it's actually going to happen or not. Oh, Doctor Sleep, is that what you're talking about, Joe? Yeah, I didn't know he was in that. So let's go over to Black Lightning, shall we? So Black Lightning, they're still under occupation from the government and waiting for the Markovians to come in and supposedly take them out. And yeah, and that's the whole thing, is no one's seen the Markovians. No one's heard from the Markovians at this point. I'm pretty sure the government's full of shit. This government agency is full of shit, and the people of Freeland should be thinking that as well at this point and rising up against these people, but they're not. In the meantime, Anissa, for some reason, has gone like almost evil. She's got all these these meta kids that are out there that she has brought over to the that weird town that we saw last season, and she's kind of just holding up there for a little bit, kind of just to feed them and then get them on to their final place. And those people are pissed off that she brought them there, and she starts threatening them. As a matter of fact, she actually grabs the father by the throat, picks him up, and says, "I will take what I want," kind of thing. And I'm like, where the fuck did this come from? Because you didn't see this in the last episode. And yeah, I don't know if the writers just decide all of a sudden to switch characters or what's going on, but yeah. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of what's going on there. Um, and then of course we have Painkiller, who is not dead, and we find out that he has been brainwashed with a brain chip, and they're testing it out and having him go out to go kill his mother, which he does. He goes out and kills his mother. Yeah. So yeah, uh I was not a big fan of this week's episode. There was some stuff that was okay. Well, one thing I did like is that they kind of got off the political soapbox for a little bit and started going into a story. The only thing is they started betraying their own characters by writing them completely different. And I don't know if this is part of the Crisis crossover or what's going on. And I'm wondering, Joe, actually, if this was a result of, so the showrunner ended up having, he got caught in sexual allegations. I believe either the beginning of the season filming or the middle of the season filming. I can't remember which one it was, and got pulled for a little bit. And I don't know if this is where it's happening, is in this area, or what it happened, when it happened, I should say. All I know is that I'm expecting to see some kind of shit happen story wise, and I guess it was sooner rather than later. And yeah, wasn't a big fan of it, let's just say. Yeah. Yes, his show on Oprah was canceled. That was my show. Oh, okay. Wow. On the Oprah network. Okay. Yeah. I can't remember his name. I know it starts with an M. McKean, I believe his name is. I can't remember the showrunner's name now. Sam McKeel. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Yes, that is the man. Um, so let's move along, shall we? Because there was 5 episodes this week. We had 5. Count them, 5 episodes. So let's move on over to. I already talked about 3 of them so far. All we have left is the Flash and Arrow. So I'm going to talk about Flash right now. I know I said to do in order, but I'm going to go out of order a little bit because I want to take a little more time with Arrow, and I feel like I'm going to sneeze here in a moment. I don't want to because I don't want to blow out your eardrums. So hard, I actually blew my own earphones off. Sorry about that, guys. Wow. Yeah. Um. So Flash. He of course is not wanting to take the monitor's word that he has to die in order to save billions, to save pretty much all these different universes. And he ends up saying, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna actually run into the future ahead of that time that I see on the newspaper and see what happens to myself, see what happened afterwards. Because yeah, that's always been a great thing for you to do, Flash, is to fuck with the timeline yet again. And what happens? He starts running into the future. He sees this gigantic ball clogging up the pipe. It literally is a gigantic ball of energy that's clogging up the pipe, which pops him back out of the future, pops him out of the timeline there, back into where he left. And he's got a cut on his leg. And it's antimatter, is what it is. That's why he's not healing. And so he has to go to Jay Garrick on Earth 3. And who of course is an expert on this stuff, and he finds out that yeah, that was an antimatter wall essentially, and the only way he can get through it is by projecting his mind forward in time. I was trying to wrap my head around this one scientifically and even sci-fi-scientifically, and it wasn't happening. So, of course, Jay Garrick has a machine already built that can send a speedster forward, his mind anyway, in time. And he does this with Barry. He has Barry put on his helmet, which has the little wings and everything. Sci-fi-scientifically. That's right. That's right. That's the correct spelling, Pen Farm Girl. You are right. And he ends up going forward, or he thinks he's going forward, and really what ends up happening is he starts seeing billions of realities all at once because of the antimatter clog. And he is going through it both physically and mentally, is what Jay says. And they pull him out of it because he's getting ready to die. And they being Jay Garrick, and then also another woman that's there who happens to look exactly like his mother, his dead mother, who Jay ended up marrying, because Jay looks like, Barry's father. Yeah, so there we go. And this on Earth 3. So he pops out of it. He is sick, of course, bedridden, and of course mentally scarred. And he's telling Iris that, yeah, he has to sacrifice himself. There's no other way. He saw billions of possibilities, and all of them are, if he doesn't die, everything else will be destroyed. So she won't take that as an answer, of course, and wants him to fight, of course, for it. And that's where we're going with this one. In the meantime, the B-roll is that Killer Frost is out there and trying to live her life, but she really doesn't give a shit about anybody. And has been neglecting Caitlyn's duties as well, which she said she would cover. And so, of course, we have Ralph is trying to help her out a bit, and everything works out in the end. But anyway, I know I'm getting kind of wishy-washy on this one, but it wasn't the most compelling episode in the world, let's just say. Other than the fact that he is finding out that he needs to sacrifice, that Barry's finding out that he has to sacrifice himself. Again, I'm not too jazzed about this show at the moment. Last episode was fine. Last episode was fun because it was a comic book episode. It actually didn't have the main story ramifications, I guess you could say, and that's what was good about it. It was a standalone episode. It was fun. This one was not fun. So then we're going to go over to Arrow, and we had the season premiere of Arrow this week. So the season premiere of Arrow, we start off where we left off, pretty much, where Oliver is talking to the Monitor, and the Monitor tells him that he's going to have to die because he already agreed to it at one point, and to save the universe, he has to die as well. So I guess he and Barry both need to die in order to save the universe. And in the meantime, the Monitor's got a little shopping list that he needs Oliver to go and jump through different Earths in order to find. And the first thing is this dwarf matter material, dwarf star matter. Yes, Oliver, Yes. And he ends up on Tunlun again on the island. And one of the things on a different Earth, by the way, one of the things that was kind of cool about it was, instead of Deathstroke's mask that you see hanging on the island on the pole with the arrow through the eye, it's Batman's mask. Now, was Slade Batman in this world? Was it Bruce Wayne? Um, what was it? Because there's another thing that happens later on in the episode where we've got Tommy, because Tommy's still alive in this world, saying that he talked to Bruce Wayne and Bruce Wayne gave him some advice. And it sounded like the Dark Knight kind of advice. So does that mean that, Bruce Wayne was on the island but got his eye taken out by Oliver? And we don't know, because they never delved that far into it. They raise all these questions about a kind of a cool alternate Earth, and then they don't tell us anything. And then we also have the B-roll, which is the 30 years in the or 20 years in the future of Star City, of what's going on with Mia and Diggle's son, or Diggle's sons, I guess you could say, and yeah, and Renee's son, daughter, and all of that. And that stuff, I'm gonna say right now, I wasn't too for the first time. I wasn't interested in that. I was more interested in the alternate Earth story. And I mean, Oliver coming home after 12 years instead of 5 years on the island, and his mom's still alive. Tommy's still alive. His mom is married to Merlin now at this point. And then also Thea is dead in this world. And the Canary, Of course, we still have the Canary as being, and I just blanked on her name. Yes, he was back in that first episode, Pen. That's all it was because it was an alternate Earth. So yes, Barrowman was back in that one. Also, Adrian Chase. Adrian Chase was back in as the Hood in this world because their Oliver got killed on the island. Pretty sure. Yeah, Arrow almost. Yeah, Arrow started off kind of strong on some things, but I kind of wanted to see more of this world, to tell you the truth. But this world, after Oliver gets the Dwarf Star material, um, because Tommy is going to destroy the Glades because that's where Thea died from a drug overdose and all this stuff. She died of a drug overdose of vertigo. So that's where she was. She was dead. And Tommy was going to use the earthquake machine in the Glades and destroy the Glades. But of course, Oliver talks him out of it. He gets the Dwarf Star material as they're leaving because Diggle comes using Cisco's technology, the world hopping technology. And as they're getting ready to leave, all of a sudden that Earth starts disintegrating, and we see the antimatter wave coming through and taking out everybody. And all he's able to do is it's him, Diggle, and the Black Canary of that Earth that are able to be saved. That's it. And that Earth ends up getting destroyed. And I was like, damn. All right. I mean, I wanted to see more of that Earth, but you destroyed it now, so we can't do it. The action sequences were okay, Joe. You could tell it was their entire stunt team. And I started laughing at one point. I'm like, so is this part of a like a fun run kind of thing? Do you have a is this the Arrow experience where you go through and you get to fight some bad guys? Because yeah, you could tell that they've been working together for so long that they know their each other's moves, and you can see them telegraphing things, and it was kind of yeah, yeah, it wasn't good. But that wasn't the point of that whole episode. The rest of the stuff was actually good. The Batman thing really fucking intrigued me. I really wanted to see what that was about, but of course it wasn't answered. Yeah, the prison episode with Michael Jai was really nice because Michael Jai knows how to fight. That's why he's a martial artist, and whenever you actually have an accomplished martial artist in the room, you get some good fight scenes. So there you have it. So this week, not that great, except for Arrow. Arrow actually had a strong start, had a very strong start. The rest of them, nah, not so much. Yeah, it's a take it or leave it kind of thing. And I know there's a lot of people that really don't like the CW DC shows. And I understand. I understand completely. Um, Sometimes when they go off right though, they're a lot of fun. I was not expecting anything different, Marks. No, I go into these things knowing what I'm getting. I am not I am a buyer beware type of person. I know exactly what I'm getting when I'm going into these things. But I want the kitsch stuff, the fun stuff, like we got last week's era. Oh, excuse me, last week's Flash. Last week's Flash was a lot of fucking fun. And when they go comic booky, like over the top comic booky, that's when it's fun. That's what I like about it. But yeah, Arrow was the only one that kind of went over the book comic booky with this week because they were on a different Earth. Um, Flash just kind of went wonky for some reason. It was doing something weird. Um, Batwoman just doesn't know what it wants to be, quite honestly, or they haven't brought a good story to the forefront as of yet. I mean, it really is still Batman overshadows this quite a bit. I mean, so much so that I kind of want to go back in time and see what the fuck happened the 3 years ago that made Bruce Wayne leave Gotham City instead of dealing with what we're watching now. And then it's of course Supergirl. I'm more interested in what's happening with Lena than I am with John Jones and his brother. Because quite honestly, that storyline we know is going to get dragged out till it's dead, dead, dead. Yeah. Like the old Birds of Prey. The old Birds of Prey was pretty bad, Joe. I remember that. It was. It's kind of funny they were advertising it on the CW Seed as well because they have the Birds of Prey up there. I'm wondering when that's going to hit DC Universe because I really don't want to unload CW Seed just to watch some stuff now. Bats left town. Well, yeah, Bats left town when Bruce Wayne left town. Yeah, of course. I really liked Arrow, Flash, Legends, and even Supergirl. Never watched Black Lightning. Will pass on Batwoman. Um, Black Lightning was good. It's got its moments, but when it goes political to the point where you're just like, dude, it goes to 11, and it's like, dude, just dial it back to 9. Dial it back to 9, and I'll be good with it. Because, yeah, just way too much. Oh, Bats Left Town and Birds of Prey. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, because they couldn't have Batman be on that either. But they can have him. They can have Bruce Wayne be on Titans, or a version of Bruce Wayne, or Bruce Wayne Light, or whoever this guy is who's supposed to be playing Bruce Wayne. But yeah, they can't have him on a CW show. I need some time off to work to binge the Arrowverse. There's, I wouldn't even know where to tell you to start. Quite honestly, Penn. I really don't know with the Arrowverse. I would say just start with last season and then work your way. Excuse me, work your way through it because it's really not that hard to pick up. It's pretty much the same plot lines over and over and over again. I was disappointed though in Arrow that we never, we see Curtis in a photograph on that Earth, that other Earth, but we never see him because the actor is gone. He's like, "Yep, not coming back," which was really kind of shitty. I don't know what happened, but yeah, he's not coming back. That's all I missed was last season. I saw all the rest. Okay. Yeah, it is a shame that he's gone. He was actually a lot of fun. He was one of the things that I really liked. Yeah, Felicity did have a send off. I actually didn't see it. Or wait, yeah, she did have a send off. So yeah, no, she's not dead. She's in the future version of Star City there. So yeah, she's around. But yeah, the future Star City storyline was good last season. It was better than the main storyline. And then I don't know what happened this season, but it's just like, yeah, I don't need it. And that's supposedly what is going to be spun off into the new series that's going to replace Arrow. It's going to be called Green Arrow and the Canaries. And it's kind of funny because Oliver actually even mentions it in this episode. He tells Adrian, he goes, "Oh, by the way, change the hood to Green Arrow. It's a lot better." Yeah, I understand, Joe. Yeah, I know it's only one episode, and yes, I will give it time. It's just it was actually a lot. I was much more invested in the future storyline than I was in the present storyline that they were showing, and now it's the opposite, which was kind of a shame. Did his half sister die last season? No, she's just went off to go and do her own thing. She's walking the earth like Kane or something like that. Because remember, she's got all that League of Assassins training now, and she's walking the earth, killing people. No, I don't know. She's off doing something. She doesn't want to come back. She's going to be coming back this for the final season. I heard that she is coming back for that, so we get to hear her lisp all over again. That was one of the things that just drove me nuts about her. She has a lisp, and yes, I know it's not a bad thing, but it's actually distracting sometimes when you're watching a scene with her. And yeah, it was not fun. So with that said, if you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to know when I'm beyond live again next, hit the bell down below. If you already hit the bell, don't hit it again. It will unclick it. You can go into the bell settings, get as many or as little notification as you want. You can also go to my website, suspendedfanimation.com, see the schedule up there. I change it every Monday. And I put it up on my Facebook page as well. There's also a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff up and talk amongst yourselves. I also have a Twitter. I have an Instagram. I have a Patreon page. I don't have any tiers set up on the Patreon page as of yet, but I will at the end of this year because I like to have stuff in place before I actually start asking you guys for money. You know, that's how it is. Um, Tomorrow is Titans season 2. Titans season 2, where we get to we get introduced to Bruce Wayne, or the guy who's supposedly playing Bruce Wayne, because damn, in that one episode we saw him in, that was not Bruce Wayne. And Saturday is going to be Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I talk about the genre news of the week and any other genre stuff you guys want to talk about. And also, I get to open a mystery package that I got from Viking Bitch. So, um, what's in the package? I have no idea because I haven't been able to open it. But we'll find out on Saturday together what that is. And hopefully it's, safe for work for you guys to watch. It's not growling, but Pepper did lick the package, so it could be food. I don't know. Sunday, of course, is going to be a double header. It's going to be a weird double header, but Mr. Robot followed by Watchmen. That's right, HBO's Watchmen. Mr. Robot, I'm so digging right now. So that is honestly taking precedence over Watchmen for me right now. That's why Mr. Robot is going to go on first, and Watchmen is going on second. And you can see the times up there: 8:15 p.m. I believe for Mr. Robot, and 9:15 for Watchmen. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it to see what they've done. I've been seeing little tidbits here and there on the internet of what people are talking about, and I'm kind of leery of it right now. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. And yeah, I have HBO as well. That's why I'm tuning in. That's pretty much what's going on. Uh John called it a woke series. What, Watchmen or Mr. Robot? What did I think of the movie, Pen? It was a movie without any kind of soul to it. It followed the comic fairly closely until the end. Then when it changed the entire ending, but it had zero soul to that movie whatsoever. I mean, whatever there was in the comic that was endearing, um, that kind of caught people up in it, wasn't in the movie. Oh, he called Watchmen a woke series. The TV show or the movie, Joe Greer, because Watchmen hasn't come out yet. I don't know how you could see it. So it must be the movie then. Is what you're talking about. A woke movie is what he was saying. Because it's not a woke movie. It really is not. If anything, it's a throwback. The TV show? How could he see it? Because it doesn't come out until Sunday, unless he got somehow a sneak preview of it. Yeah. Well, we'll find out on Sunday. Yeah. Um, I don't know. I really don't know about it. To tell you the truth, I don't know what to think of it. Assumptions for me. Um, the only thing I'm worried about are the Rorschach people. because of what I've heard. And I'll just tell you right now, supposedly the Rorschach people that are wearing the Rorschach masks are all white supremacists, which I was just like, what? So yeah. And yeah, that just kind of yeah, and Dave Gibbons has talked about it and said that he understands where it was coming from uh, because of the comic, and of course, when they talk to Alan Moore told him to go fuck off because that shit isn't mine, as he puts it. Yeah, Alan Moore will not talk about this shit at all. He's a very, very bitter Scotsman. Or is he Irish? I think he's a Scotsman. Yeah. But I'll be covering it anyway. Yeah, I love Jackie Earl Haley's performance in it. I thought he was the best thing in it, to tell you the truth. And he actually played Rorschach the way I remembered in the comic. And he even got the voice right for somehow. It was kind of like what I felt in my head. Yeah. There's 4 episodes of previews up, Penn. I didn't know that. I may have to take a look. Excuse me. Jack and Ginger there. No, I mean you'll cover. Oh yeah, that's it. That's right. There is the 4-episode rule. So if it's not good after 4 episodes, or if I'm just bitching about it after 4 episodes, it's gone. Kind of like what's going on with Feelings in Hallways. I mean, I'm bitching a lot about these shows. Supposedly, the prison doctor who interviews him in the movie has taken up the Rorschach in the Doomsday Cop. Oh wow, okay. Which is kind of weird because in the comic, the original Watchmen comic, he died. I thought. Oh, the prison doctor's son. Got it. Yeah. I don't know. Damon Lindelof's writing is pretty bad. I know it's supposed to be 30 years after the original Watchmen comic and movie. So it's supposed to be 30 years after those events. 30 years. Yeah, I like Jeffrey Dean Morgan in it too. He was pretty creepy. But anyway, I digress. So back to the CW Feelings in Hallways. Yeah, we'll see what happens here. I mean, I kind of want stuff. I know that we're gonna have a lot of fun with the Crisis crossover. We are gonna lose. Most likely, we're gonna lose Arrow, and we're gonna lose a Flash as well. Um, I pretty much thought that the Flash was gonna be ending this season. I might be right. I don't know. We'll find out. But the crossover looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. I mean, we have Black Lightning in this crossover too, and everybody and their fucking mother is in this crossover. I mean, Lucifer's in this crossover. They just announced that they hired someone to play the Spectre. I mean, they got Burt Ward as Robin from Batman '66 in it. Brandon Routh playing Kingdom Come Superman, as well as Ray Palmer. Um, it's a big, huge thing. I mean, Tom Welling playing Clark Kent and Superman, supposedly Superman. They've only said Clark Kent so far, but I don't know. Um, yeah, I read somewhere Killer Frost and Barry's wife don't get along in real life. Oh yeah, I can see that. Yeah, the girl who plays Iris is very bubbly and kind of annoying. I remember seeing her at WonderCon one year, and she was just really like blah out there. And I can see how that all the time would get on someone's nerves. And Danielle Pennebaker does not seem like that kind of person who wants. She did not seem like that kind of person who is into that whole blah kind of thing. I could be wrong, but who knows? Yeah, yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's not like they need each other. Like Killer Frost and Iris need to be in the same scenes anyway. Like they need girl time or anything like that. All right. So I'm going to wrap things up here because as the clock on the wall says, I'm 45 minutes in. And I might as well wrap some stuff up here. Thank you, everybody who joined me tonight in the chat. And thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about joining up, you're going to see at the very end here a little video that pops up here. It is a sample video. Basically, what happens is Google takes or YouTube, I should say. Google owns YouTube. Yes, I know. The alphabet company, however they want to call it. So YouTube has their algorithm of all the stuff you've been watching, and they pluck a video out of my vast video library, like a big claw of death, and pop it up there, matching all the stuff you've been watching. Up here is going to be I just forgot what it was. Is it worth my time? Gendy Tartakovsky's Primal is what that's going to be right up there. So if you are still on the fence about joining up, take a look at that video up there. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. And as Penn says, hit that like button before you go. Thank you, everybody. I will see you tomorrow for Titans. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may end up having the monitor's grocery shopping list and having to jump through all these different universes in order to find everything on the list because he's a bastard like that. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.